This interview is part of the Baltic Bridge project. No part of this interview may be reproduced without the express written permission of an authorized Baltic Bridge representative. Today is Tuesday, March 29th, 2016 at 10:45 a.m. We are in the Lithuanian Embassy in Washington, D.C. with Ambassador Rolandas Krisciunas. What are your main duties as the Lithuanian ambassador in D.C.? What do you hope to achieve as the ambassador of Lithuania?
The main duties of the embassy, of course, is to maintain bilateral relationship with the United States. So we are, of course, as an ambassador, I'm the main contact point for anything which happens between our countries. So, and of course, as a main goal, there are quite a number of goals you could come up in your head, but the main goal, of course, what I would like to achieve, I would like to if to say this, I don't know, more prosaic, I would like to see more Lithuania in the United States. Doesn't mean that more Lithuanians in the United States, but it's a part of it. The people-to-people contacts are very important, but very general, more Lithuania in the United States and more United States in Lithuania. So that's what I would like to support any activity which makes Lithuania more visible. United States makes Lithuania understandable better for United States citizens, not just from where we are, but how do we live, what partnership we are having with the United States, and why it's important. And it's not just economics and not just politics, but it's also cultural ties. We have a very big, in relative terms, Lithuanian and Central American community in the United States. And those relationships are also very important in our bilateral relationship. And that was one actually of these things which was stressed by the President of the United States when I presented the credentials. So he, of course, we have just a couple of minutes to exchange because there are other ambassadors in line. But so you know that every sentence which is being told during those short 2 minutes basically is very important, and there are a lot of analysis and effort were put to actually do even the exact wording of those two sentences. And one of the sentences was that the United States President is very proud of Lithuanian diaspora, Lithuanian Americans in the United States. So that also is one big goal. What I have, I travel the United States, meet the community of Lithuanians wherever they are. Including small ones, because of course the biggest one we have is in Chicago. It's impossible probably to meet even an American who haven't met Lithuanian descent American living in Chicago. So you always get someone who knows someone who was a roommate or was just someone classmate and so on. So that's, but also smaller communities where we have just probably 100 Lithuanian Americans living. So it's also very interesting to meet them and discuss how they live, what their expectations are, what ties they maintain with Lithuania and so on. So it's the main goal, as I said, to sum up, it's more of the United States and Lithuania and more Lithuania and the United States. That makes us stronger, that makes us bigger partners.
Thank you. Welcome.
It's not the first time I'm in the United States. I used to work at the Lithuanian Embassy 15 years ago. I was the first secretary responsible for economic relationships within our country, so I was the one to make more economic things go on between our two countries. Of course, the trade figures are the ones, statistics where you would see is it increasing or not. That shows how much economic activity we have between two countries. But before that, I also studied. I was a student. I finished my master's degrees. I studied degree studies at Ohio State. So I'm a big Buckeyes fan still, and big Ohio fan still. So Midwest is very close to my heart. And I was a part of the student's life, of course. The university is one of the biggest campuses. It was a very exciting time I spent there. And it's impossible to erase it from my heart. So it's. I had very warm feelings towards anything that's happening in Ohio. I like to see the Ohio succeed in different things, and I'm still rooting for a number of teams from Ohio. be it NFL, be it NHL. It was not in my time. NHL team came to Columbus later on after I finished my studies, but I still root for this team just because it's from Columbus, my city of alma mater.
What has been the most surprising, challenging, or rewarding project or policy that you have been working on at the embassy?
It's difficult to single out one because it depends how you describe importance. Because, of course, one of the things we are very proud that we have a so-called strategic partnership with the United States, which was stressed a number of times when our top politicians or top leaders meet of the country. So Lithuania is being considered and considers the United States as a strategic partner. So I think the biggest success we had, it dates not yesterday and the day before yesterday. I think the biggest success we have in our bilateral relationship is that the United States was the country which never recognized the occupation of Lithuania. And that's why we should be proud of our diplomats, of course, who worked before World War II in the United States and earlier, who fostered our relationship to the point that the United States never recognized our occupation and all other Baltic states. This building, which we are today, it's a very special building for Lithuania because it's a symbol of this non-recognition policy. Because of non-recognition policy by the United States of occupation of Lithuania, we were able to have this building in our hands during the Soviet occupation. So the ambassador of Lithuania was residing there. He had, of course, not ambassador credentials as such, but he was, in our eyes, a hope that Lithuania one day will become independent. The Lithuanian flag, tricolor flag, was flying all these years by the building of Lithuanian embassy. And that's a single building which we maintained during the Soviet occupation. The other buildings were given back to Soviets as a property of Lithuania, which was de facto a part of Soviet Union. But this building was not. And of course, it's not that the Soviets haven't been making an effort to gain it, it's just that the US refused to give it up for the Soviets. So that was very symbolic, and of course, once we established Independence Bank in 1990, we sent an ambassador there right away who had already official duties as an ambassador of Lithuania. And that's also that the building is very special, and it witnesses the resilience and of the local Lithuanian community, which was always flying their hopes high that one day Lithuania will be independent. They helped to maintain this building. It's not easy to upkeep, it costs to maintain the building. They, through the donations, local Lithuanian community, and not just Lithuanian community, but I saw it and Latvian local community and Estonian local community were supporting this building as a symbol for all Baltic states one day to become free again. And I think that's the most important in our bilateral relationship. Later on, you could find a number of other important topics like NATO membership, which is providing security guarantees to Lithuania. Those very uncertain days, I would say, because the world is going through some very important transitional period. We do have, once again, aggressive Russia next on our door. And those NATO guarantees, of course, they mean a lot today, even though if it seems that's something why we got to those questions, why did Russia join NATO? Because the world will be different. Russia will be different. Russia is not Soviet Union. Yes, we said it's not Soviet Union, but we would like to be a part of North Atlantic relationship as a member. And that was a very strong decision, which was taken, of course, also by the United States among all other NATO members. And the voice of the United States is always very important in any organization. And the most recent, I could say that also with the support of United States, Lithuania currently is negotiating membership in OECD. So it's another organization which unites all advanced economies who look at the world through similar lens, through similar values, and it's kind of a recognition token for Lithuania that it's matured as an international player, and its status entitles it to join the most advanced advanced countries in OECD. And currently we are negotiating. I hope that in a couple of years we will be a proud member of OECD contributing from our stance also. So those I would say very important things, but there are I would stress that every single small thing is also very important. And, it's a concert which we organize in the United States for the community, for local community, be it an exhibition which we are bringing, the artwork of Lithuania, which gives American audience understanding, how we live, how we create, what is important in our lives in Lithuania. And I think knowing each other better, we could appreciate our difference and also at the same time see tremendous similarities, because we do adhere to the same values with respect to human rights, liberal look at the economy, international order, respecting everyone's right to self-determination, what alliances they would like to be a part of. No one could dictate to anyone what country could choose or not choose to do if it does not go against any rights of the country, but the rights which are agreed only that every country has rights, and so on. So that's, I think, is important. And I think every small step leads to one big goal, which is a stronger relationship and partnership we have with the United States.
Could you please describe your experiences in America and how they have influenced you as an ambassador?
I would say that yes, it's all small steps, and you, of course, in Lithuania we say that it's possible not to see the forest because of the trees. The trees, if you concentrate too much on the separate trees, you miss the big picture of the forest as such. But I think that there should be a good balance. Every single step we are taking, as I said, from however small it should seem at the moment, it's still, I see it as a part of a big picture. And I think that's why we call our partnership with the United States a strategic one, because we will never miss the big picture in our relationship. And that's why I'm not afraid that we could at some point miss the forest because of the trees. So we are very perceptive and conscious about every single tree probably in our relationship, but we will never miss the big forest we have